Okay, terrific.
Voilà. Hi everyone, happy to be live
Hello.
with Henry Lewis. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and your books?
Yeah, of course. Thank you very much for having me. I'm delighted to be talking to you, Kaz, and to everyone. Yeah, my name's Henry Lewis. My background is very much in theatre, really. I went to LAMDA, which is a drama school in West London. I was very much kind of theatre kid at school, and I trained to be an actor. When I left drama school, I started a theatre company called Mischief Comedy. And that's kind of what I'm probably most known for, if I'm known for anything. And So yeah, we create comedy shows. Most notably, The Play That Goes Wrong, which is a comedy about an amateur theatre troupe putting on a murder mystery, and that show we first created in 2012. It moved into the West End in 2014, and it's still running at the Duchess Theatre now. Goodness, 11 years later. And so that's kind of my background in writing, was very much sort of writing scripts for theatre. And then more recently, I've started writing books under the sort of mystery agency banner. And the mystery agency came about during the COVID pandemic, because theatres were very much shut down at that time. And so I had to find something else to do with my time. And so I quite liked puzzles and escape rooms and that kind of thing. One Early during the pandemic, me and a few pals sort of got together on Zoom, and we would always do a different activity. And there was a watercolor class, there was a bingo night, there was a cookery sort of class, all sorts of different things. And when it was my turn to host it, I created a sort of puzzle experience, a sort of escape room thing that everyone could play at home, and I sent everyone a package in the post, with different sort of puzzles in it and that sort of thing, and everyone got together on Zoom and had to sort of solve the crime, and it was quite good fun. And so then that ended up becoming a bit of a business, a sort of sideline, I suppose, to my sort of theatre work. And so that's where the mystery agency started, and we started doing boxes, sort of puzzle boxes, where you kind of get a sort of a historical sort of mystery to solve, something from the past. And it was quite kind of realistic props and things. And then that became the books. So that's the sort of books have come out of that, and this is the second one. I got a copy here, I can show it to you. This is it. Mystery Agency, The Bookshop Murder. You've got one as well, Kaz. Very good. Yes. So yes, and it's created in collaboration with two other people. So I write the content and the puzzles and the story, and sort of come up with a design brief for the whole thing, and then it's designed by Rebecca Pitt, who's a brilliant graphic designer who I've worked with for many years on. She does theatre posters, so that's kind of where I know her from. She's designed posters for lots of our shows. And so she's done an excellent job designing it, and Gavin Rees does the illustrations as well. And I mean, I can show you a bit of it, but maybe I'll do that in a bit. You should ask me some questions first, probably, Kaz, before I dive into the book. But that's basically who I am, and that's basically how the book came about.
So you write the story and the puzzles. Do you start off by creating the puzzles and then fit the story around it, or?
It's a bit of both, I think. It's a sort of you sort of do 10% of one and then 10% of the other, and you've got to kind of come. I've sort of think of a theme where there's lots of different sort of visual things. So the first book is set in a museum, because I thought there was lots of sort of interesting stuff in a museum that you could use to create puzzles. This one's set in a bookshop because there's sort of similar sort of lots of curious things, and quite good for documents and that sort of stuff that are featured quite a lot in the book. So you do a little bit of the story and you work out, they could be these puzzles, and you have to do a fair bit of planning with it. And it's a sequence of about 40 or 50 puzzles through the pages. So you work out a little bit of the story, and then you go back and layer in some puzzles, and then you might make a few tweaks and stuff. But no, generally, you sort of plan the whole thing out in advance and say, well, this puzzle will come first, and the puzzles kind of work in groups, because the answer to puzzles sort of, say 1, 7, and 14, you take those three answers together, and that gives you a piece of information to solve the overall crime. So it's a sequence of puzzles, and once you've solved all of them, you can then solve the murder in this case.
And they're kind of very mixed puzzles, aren't they? There's like working through it, there's like a whole range of different. It's not like if you get Myrtle and you get just logic puzzles. This has got a whole range of different styles.
Yeah, correct. I've tried to make it a bit yeah. So there's quite a lot of variety. There's definitely sort of logic puzzles in there. There's I really like the sort of visual sort of stuff where you kind of got to really figure out what something looks like and that sort of thing. So there's lots of that kind of thing in there. But there's also sort of ciphers and codes. There's lots of that kind of stuff too. And then there's kind of just, I mean, sort of bit of sort of detective stuff. There's a little bit of maths, but not too much maths. I don't want to put anyone off with maths, but I think but yeah, so I mean, so this is an example of a page. That's a sort of Playfair cipher, which is kind of an existing cipher. You've got to work that out, and you've got instructions there. So that sort of plays as more of a task, that one, than a puzzle. And then there's other stuff where it's a bit more. I suppose this is a kind of good example of a logic puzzle, sort of blood analysis, sort of based on actual sort of genuine 1930s sort of science and how they sort of started to kind of look at this kind of thing, how you might analyze blood groups and that kind of thing. So it's sort of not quite as complicated as the real science, but taking some ideas from that, put into a puzzle, it kind of becomes a logic puzzle. And then there are some which are a bit more kind of a bit more tricky. So on some pages it's quite clear what you've got to do, but on other pages part of the puzzle is figuring out what the puzzle is itself. And there's stuff hidden in the illustrations and all that kind of thing. I mean, this is quite a good example. That's a sort of there's lots of these locked door pages where you've got to figure out the code to unlock the door. And that one doesn't give you very much information at all. You've got to just figure out what that one is from the visuals. And then there's a QR code there. You scan that, and then you can enter the password and see if you've got it right, and see if it lets you through the door. So yeah, a big mixture.
What inspires your puzzle making? Do you like kind of things? I'm trying to think of really famous puzzle things that have gone before, like Masquerade. I don't know if you ever played Perplexity.
No, I haven't actually. But no, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I suppose it kind of was. I mean, I definitely remember. I was in New York doing a show, and I remember going to an escape room there because I never really thought that was necessarily my thing, really. But actually, I really enjoyed it. It was quite a sort of immersive one. It had been designed by one of the designers who worked with Punch Drunk, which is a theatre company that does lots of immersive sort of big immersive shows where you go into a big kind of environment and you look around, and it's all kind of very sort of lavishly produced, I suppose. It was just kind of really kind of really kind of well done, I thought, and really kind of clever and very kind of really sort of atmospheric. And so I thought that was quite fun. And so when I looked at doing this, I sort of thought, yes, I kind of want the puzzles to be really intriguing and varied, but also kind of really want the aesthetic to be to really sort of transport you back to a point in history or to a particular place. And so there's a real sense of atmosphere, hopefully, to it. And lots of that is in Rebecca's brilliant graphics and Gavin's brilliant illustrations. But yeah, so hopefully it's a kind of atmospheric puzzle solving experience.
I've never been to an escape room. Perplexity, which you haven't played, was like a pre-pandemic thing. It worked a bit like Masquerade. There was a real object hidden somewhere in the world, and you had to solve puzzle cards to get clues.
That's
and there
fun.
was like a story, and you got clues, and then you had to kind of, the first person to like find the thing won some money.
Yeah, amazing. Well, that sounds great. I'll have to look into that.
So the puzzles went from really easy. They were like coded in colours, and they went from really easy to like these ones that, some of them you had to work together as a team and find people in Japan to like look at barcodes, or like one of the really hard puzzles was like an unsolved maths problem, like you'd win $1 million
Oh, one of those. Yes. Yeah. Okay.
One of
Amazing.
those
Yes.
kind of ones. So yeah, it was like it was really good fun, but it was a very different sort of thing. And I think things that immerse you like that are really fun to do.
Hmm. I think so. And I think yeah, I think I quite like things that are sort of the sort of mystery element is fun for me. I quite like things where it's sort of it's not entirely clear what you've kind of, that's what I quite like about escape rooms. I think is it's not quite clear. You're in an environment and there's clues and there's things, but you don't quite know how it all goes together. And so part of it is just kind of organizing things and figuring things out, not just the puzzle itself, but also what everything means. I think that's quite fun and quite fun to do with other people. So this is a kind of book you can certainly do it on your own, but you could also solve it with someone else or in a small group. That would be fun too.
Are you not tempted to take this out like live, do a mystery agency?
Mm. I've thought about it. Yes, and it's something on the list of things to do one day. I would love to do that. I think that would be really fun. But yes, probably quite a bit of investment required to get that underway to do like a big live venue. But I would really like to do that one day. Yeah, and sort of bring the bring it full circle and take the thing that started as the non-theatrical thing and make it a bit more theatrical. That would be fun.
We've got some hellos from people. I've got a hello from Leslie Field. Deb Day's watching and she says, how did she miss the run up to this? She's very happy to see you here.
Oh, hello. Well, lovely to see you guys.
Laura said hello as well. She wants to ask you one of our group favourite questions, which is, have you ever acted? Because you're an actor, this is a good thing to ask. Have you ever acted out a scene to help with the writing process?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, not I guess not up on my feet, sort of alone in my study, but yeah, no, I definitely read out the dialogue and stuff for sure. I mean, that's probably more relevant with the scripts and stuff I write for shows. And I usually with shows I'm writing with other people, whereas the books I write on my own. But yeah, no, certainly with that you're and it's comedy as well, so you're kind of always bouncing off each other all the time and suggesting lines. And yes, when you're suggesting a line, you're often kind of doing it sort of in the character's voice, I suppose. So you kind of you sort of get a flavor of how the joke might be delivered as well as what the actual words of it are. Yeah, and I think that's a big part of what we do at Mischief. You know, we always it's all about trying, you know, with comedy certainly it's about trying things out and getting a sense for them. There's only so much that you can imagine. So I think yeah, it's really about getting actors into a room, doing read throughs, trying things out, different ideas, taking the script away again, reworking it, bringing it back. Quite often we'll do a sort of workshop, we'll do preview performances, and we'll be making changes to the script as we go through previews. We're actually previewing a show. I'm in Salford at the moment, previewing Christmas Carol Goes Wrong at the Lowry, and so yeah, we've just today we've been pulling the script apart after our first preview and figuring out what cuts we'll make and what changes. But yes, we absolutely do act things out during all those sessions for sure.
Do you, when you're writing something like this, have to not act things out, but almost test things out? So when you think you've written it and you've put all the pieces together and it works through to people hopefully coming up with a solution, do you have to get someone to test it? Like to try all the puzzles and see if they can.
Yeah, definitely. I with the boxes, I sort of do quite a lot of that myself, and I'll get some friends round, you know, and we'll have a drink or whatever, and they'll do it, and I'll watch, and I can sort of start to get a sense of if something is too difficult or too easy or too obscure, and you need to kind of make it clearer. That you definitely, yeah, it's really useful to watch for that and see if people need a hint, what might be a good hint, what might be a bad hint. And yeah, just see the ways in which it can improve it and make it yeah, mysterious and sort of puzzling in the right way and not just confusing. I think that's definitely something that I'm sort of always looking for in that. But particularly with the books, it's the guys from the publishers who are kind of working through it and trying to solve it and giving it a test. The testing happens more through the publisher. But yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's really important to give it a go and try it out. I mean, also with the puzzle books, I find as well, if you write a draft, you can leave it for 3 months and then come back to it, and by that point there'll have been details that you've forgotten and stuff. So you've got a bit of you've got fresher eyes on it. So you sort of do that as well, for sure.
Is it quite difficult sort of having multiple endings? Because you've sort of written multiple endings to this, haven't you? So there's the right person and then you can pick.
Yes, it is. It is a complication with the writing of it, but it only splits. Yeah, it only splits at the very end. So it's not like sort of like a choose your own adventure where you're going down different paths all the time. It's just it's one story, and then at the end, there's basically, I'll show you the page. There's a page where you can choose which which person you want, who you think it is. You know, you've got your you solve all the puzzles and work it out. You get to this page, and you decide which person you think it is, and you turn to a different number of page, whichever page. So if you thought it was Harry Blackstone, for example, you turn to page 102, and then you get the accusation of him, and the story plays out in a particular way. And if that's right, you then carry on. If that's wrong, it sends you back here, and then you get to have another go. And all the way through, you're making notes about the suspect. There's eight suspects, and at the beginning of the book, there's pages like this, which there's different suspects and information that you fill out as you go. There's another 4 on the next page. So you fill that in as you go, and there's a map as well, actually, and a homicide report. So there's all information that you're collecting as you go, and then you use that information to solve the crime at the end.
Do they all have a similar art style? Or the ones that you so far?
They do, yeah, certainly. This one, and it was the same team. So Gavin and Rebecca did the first book as well, and yeah, I think so. It's a nice sort of blend. I mean, some of the it's all kind of. I mean, we chose to go for a spot color, which I think is really nice, because originally we were going to do it in black and white, but actually we've chosen this spot color that gives you quite a lot of variety. So it's a sort of yellow, but it means you get kind of browns and creams and stuff. I mean, there's sort of like train tickets and stuff on that page, which I think look really nice, with the different colors. And there's on every page there's the puzzle box there, which is always kind of yellow in this sort of yellowy paper. But you also get things like, I mean, there's sort of crates and things that are quite nice. I mean, the illustrations work quite nicely in black and white. That's a particularly nice one, I think, from Gavin. And but I think that kind of works quite nicely. And I think in this book, what we've really done nicely, I think, is to integrate the illustration and the graphics together quite nicely. There's a couple of good examples of that, actually. I mean, this one is about a photo album, this page, and so that's Gavin's illustrations are sort of built into the design. So you sort of, those illustrations are in this photo album, so that's all the design elements coming together in quite a nice way. I think I quite really like the way they've done that, and the spot color means that we can do the photos in sepia, and so you get lots of lovely paper textures and stuff is really the kind of main thing. And we've explored more textures in the background and stuff to give it kind of a really nice finish. So I think, and then the cover is the same, except the other one, the first one is yellow, this one's red, with a foil print around the border and around the logo to kind of make it stand out.
What's the reception been like for this? I mean, you've got lovely feedback on the back from people like Neil Patrick Harris.
Yeah, he's a huge escape room fan, but he really liked the book. It's been really nice. We've sold more copies of this so far than we have of the first book, so that's been nice. So it feels like it's sort of building, and hopefully people have enjoyed it. The first one, I mean, this has only just come out, but the first one now has been included on lots of sort of list of sort of top puzzle and gift books came out end of 2023, and hopefully this one will be too. I think it's come on a few steps. I think there's been some learnings from the first one that I've been able to kind of implement and improve it. The feedback's been lovely so far. but it's literally just been out a week or so, so it's just starting to arrive on people's front doors.
So are you going to work on the next one, or has doing stuff like this tempted you into going into like straight kind of fiction?
I would love to, love to write a novel. I've been thinking about it for a while. It's certainly quite a big undertaking, and this year's ended up being quite busy with a few other projects. But no, it's something that when I have the time, maybe next year, I'll certainly start to properly think about. But yeah, but this has been a fun introduction. I think had I started to write a novel straight out the blocks, I think not sure quite how that would have gone, but I think that I've learnt a lot about just about books from working with the publisher and through these two. So yeah, I feel like I'm in a better position to probably undertake that than I was before.
Would you write a crime novel, or would you go somewhere different if you're going to write a novel?
Goodness, I don't know. I think yes, possibly crime, or possibly. I mean, possibly comedy because that's sort of the world I know a bit more. So that might be a good place to start. But I also quite like science fiction stories, so that's kind of another area that I think I might try and explore. But yes, I'm not sure yet what I would go for.
You can meld them. You can have like a comedy crime. You can have sci-fi and crime, works brilliantly together.
Yeah.
The wonderful C.K. McDonald writes like really funny kind of crime novels.
Mm.
And was a
Yeah.
comedian, so
No, I'm sure. No, absolutely. No, a comedy crime novel sounds fun. I think that would be good. Maybe I'll have to give it a go. I need a few months though aside to do it. I'm not sure when I've got that time at the moment, but yeah, hopefully one day. Yeah.
is there going to be a third of these? Do you plan to carry them on, or?
I hope so. I really enjoy putting them together. Really enjoy working with the publisher and the collaboration with Bex and Gavin. So yes, would love to do a third one. I hope I get the opportunity to.
Is there a little nod to kind of other bookshops and bookstores? Because you have a detective called Waterstone.
There are a few, yes. I mean that's one, but I mean more specifically, the street because it's based on a Bookseller Row, which is the sort of name sometimes given to Cecil Court in London. I've actually just been doing a show at the Noel Coward Theatre, which is literally just around the corner, so I walk down Cecil Court almost every day. But I love that street, and of course it's got lots of bookshops on that street, and also kind of lots of other interesting old shops, antique shops, and things like that. And so yeah, that's kind of where I based it on. And my uncle, in fact, who's a rare book and map dealer, he was for many years ran a bookshop in Liverpool Street. But for a few years, he had a shop on that street, and so he knows a few of the other people who run bookshops. So I had an afternoon of doing a bit of research and going into Briars and Briars and talking to them and meeting some of the folks and learning a bit about the history of the street and stuff. And so a few little bits of that are in the book. Yeah, it's a fascinating world. I think yeah, lovely people and interesting, really passionate kind of people. And so hopefully a bit of that is reflected in some of the characters.
Is the other book sort of loosely set in London as well?
Yeah, the other book, the first one, Museum Heist, is yeah, loosely based on the Natural History Museum, which is kind of where I and certainly the visuals of that. You know, you certainly can see sort of Hintz Hall and stuff, the main hall at Natural History Museum in that. And that was just a place I absolutely loved. I mean, I still love it now, but absolutely loved when I was a kid. Just kind of, you know, going around that huge building, getting lost and finding all these incredible kind of unusual things. In the book, it's not a natural history museum specifically. It's more of a sort of general museum. There's all sorts of different things in it. There's science in it. There's, you know, fossils and things like that. But there's also kind of antiquities and all that sort of stuff as well. So it's kind of, yeah, a mixture of different stuff, which is had to help with the puzzles really, because you just got lots of different, you know, you can do, you know, a puzzle based on, you know, Greek urns, but you can also do another one based on, you know, Tyrannosaurus Rex skull, and you just got lots of different stuff in there, plus different characters, you know, who are sort of curators of different sort of areas and all that kind of thing. Yeah, so that one's not a murder. That one's a sort of heist. So you've got to figure out who's stolen this very valuable kind of gemstone from the museum.
Cool. The Natural History Museum is one of the few London museums I've been in.
Say again, sorry. One of the few London museums
I've ever been in. I've been in the Natural History Museum and the Science Museum.
Oh, right. Well, the V&A as well. I recommend the V&A is beautiful, but no, the natural history is my favourite, and no, there's always fantastic stuff going on there.
And weirdly, the Houses of Parliament. Does that count as a museum?
I suppose. I don't know if it's a museum, but yes, no, I've looked around there as well. Yes, interesting place to have a look around. Yeah,
it's absolutely amazing when you go inside, isn't it? It's like pretty cool.
Well, the House of Commons is very small. I think that's the first thing you sort of notice about it. It sort of looks quite big on TV, but actually, when you're inside, it feels like quite an intimate space. Yeah.
We didn't go in that bit. I went for an event, so we did a little bit of it, and then we're on the bit where the Thames is, which was quite nice.
Yeah, that sort of terrace and stuff is lovely. Yeah. Yes. We've been rehearsing this play I'm doing at the moment down in Wandsworth. So I begin in the Thames Clipper a lot, and you go past all of that, and yeah, it's beautiful building.
It's pretty special. Leslie on here is going to make you very happy. She says she bought the first one of these for her stepson, who really enjoyed it.
Oh, great!
And she thinks it's an excellent present for her to buy for people, and he's getting the new one next.
Oh, wonderful! Well, thank you very much. So glad that you enjoyed the first one. I hope you enjoy this one just as much. Thank you very much for buying it. That's so lovely.
You said you made these as mystery boxes first.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
And are they still a thing that you can buy?
Yeah, absolutely. If you go to themysteryagency.com, there's 4 different ones we currently have available. So there's the Balthazar Stone, which is a pirate-themed box. So you get a little pirate chest with a padlock on the front, and you've got to figure out how to open the chest. And there's different compartments in it. It's quite fun, that one. The visuals of that are really nice, and the sort of the wooden pirate chest is really cool. There's another one that's sort of a sort of spy themed one where you get kind of a sort of leather CIA portfolio that you've got to open, and different top secret sort of full of top secret documents and things. There's sort of web elements as well to them, so you've got to find the sort of websites you've got to find, and passwords, and you've got to log in and all that kind of thing. There's the Vanishing Gambler, which is about someone who goes missing from a Las Vegas jail cell. There's lots of technology in that one, and sort of CCTV footage and stuff that you've got to sort of piece together, and a police archive that you've got to get into. That's quite fun. And then there's The Ghost in the Attic, which is probably my favorite one. And that one is about a haunted 1950s board game. So you get the board game, and it comes, and it's all been sort of chained shut, and you've got to unlock it and sort of figure out the mystery of what's going on with it. And it also is a board game that you can play as well, but it's mainly the mystery. But no, it's really fun, and the graphics on that one I think is great. That sort of 1950s board game style is really exciting, I think. So yeah, that one's really good. But they're all good fun, and yes, available to be delivered to your door from themysteryagency.com.
Are you tempted to take it into other formats as well? So I'm thinking like video games and things, because there's some great like those sort of puzzle solving games, isn't there, like Professor Layton?
Yes, I think that would be cool. I would love to. Yeah, I mean, the video game world is not a world I know much about, but no, that would be fun one day. I think it could definitely exist in lots of formats. I sort of thought of doing a game, a sort of app, sort of style version of it, so that it turns your phone into the phone of someone who's someone who's been murdered or something, that sort of thing, and you've got to go through their phone and figure out how to unlock things and stuff and try and solve the case. That would be kind of a fun one to do. But yeah, no, it's definitely quite there's lots of scope for doing it in different formats. Talked about doing a sort of you could do a sort of interactive sort of TV style version of it as well. Again, probably quite ambitious, but yeah, there's definitely possibilities.
Or like a mystery kind of role playing game, a bit like D&D.
Yeah, absolutely. Like a sort of murder mystery dinner party type thing. Yeah, you could absolutely do that too, for sure.
We made a mystery version at school of uh, like we made a Professor Layton kind of one, but we did it as a My Little Pony role playing.
Hmm.
So all the characters were like Sherlock Hooves and things like that,
That's great. Well, that's
and
where
they
you
had
get
to
your comedy
investigate a
mystery
heist.
from. Oh, that's great. I love that. Yeah, very good.
And that was a lot of fun. So you could definitely do something like that with this. I think it would work really well because it's sort of that kind of thing where you cooperatively solve puzzles, isn't it? It's quite
Yeah, yeah,
fun.
yeah. Absolutely. No, that's a good idea. That sounds great.
Maybe don't do it like we did, but that was a bit too silly. But
No, I know. I think that's good. I've got to find the comedy angle for the comedy murder mystery. So yeah, yeah, that'll be a good idea.
I think role playing games lend themselves to comedy because you can
Oh
sort
yeah,
of make the comedy as you go. Like when people sort of mess up roles and things, you make up silly things that happen and stuff. It adds to the joy.
yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a few of the guys at Mischief who do a sort of Dungeons and Dragons podcast. I'm not very involved. I've guested on it a couple of times, but yeah, all of that is kind of role play stuff. Role play, sort of where role play, I guess, meets improvised comedy, and yeah, that's really fun. And there's sort of a bit of sort of puzzle solving and stuff in there as well. But yeah, but no, that's exactly what that is, and sort of all sorts of different sort of mad, fantastical characters and stuff trying to. Sort of you're going on quests, all that kind of thing. It's really good fun.
Leslie's recommending you go to the Museum of Witchcraft,
Ooh,
Oscombe. It's very good, apparently. It's got a genuinely strange atmosphere.
okay, interesting. And
It sounds
I'll
good,
have to.
doesn't it?
It does sound good. I'll have to go and check it out. That's very interesting. Yeah, lovely. Thank you for the recommendation.
A witchcraft themed mystery agency book would be good.
That would be good, wouldn't it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that would be fun. Well, I need an idea for the third one, so that could be good. I've also quite liked the idea of I don't know, I haven't thought about it really in enough detail yet, but there was a sort of cruise. I think this was sort of 1920s, 1930s would have been. There was a yeah, like a sort of luxury yacht cruise on a lake, I think, and it was Charlie Chaplin and a film producer and their partners, and I think a film director, a few other people. It was about sort of 7 or 8 people, and this was a real trip that happened, one summer, and there was a real murder. I think that happened on this boat. It was only 7 or 8 people there, so I thought that was kind of quite a perfect sort of setup for was a real life murder mystery. But so something based on that, I thought would be quite good, and also I thought a boat sort of might be quite fun. Lots of kind of different sort of nautical puzzles with different types of knots and anchors and all that sort of stuff. Could be quite fun. So that was another idea. But yes, no, I like the witchcraft one too.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with a bit of weird witchcraft stuff, can you? I always ask people what they've read recently and really enjoyed.
Oh my goodness. Well, I mean, I to be honest, I mean, what have I read? I mean, lots of stuff that I've read recently that I've liked. I mean, I suppose I would say, I mean, the last book I've read is quite an old book. I read *Sapiens* by you could be able to tell me who wrote it, probably, I'm sure. Yuval Noah Harari, that's who wrote it. And yeah, I thought that was really interesting. I read mainly non-fiction. Um, The Art of Persuasion I read recently, the Ross Atkins book. I really enjoyed that. I think he's really extraordinary, actually, journalist. And what else have I read? I mean, I've also read recently my friend John's book, Nowhere to Run, which is sort of comedy story about, a real life story about his running of a football club. I think that's definitely well worth reading if you haven't. He basically became the co-chair of Ashton United, which is a small football club in Manchester in the 7th division. of football, and so obviously there's the the Premiership or whatever at the top, and the Championship, and then you go down the divisions all the way to the sort of more regionalised version of that, and smaller clubs. And there's a club that his grandfather played for, semi-professional club. That yeah, his granddad and his dad played for back in the day, and so he's become the co-chair, and it's amazing kind of community kind of endeavour. But certainly there's difficulties within the club, which become clear when you read the book. So yeah, that's quite a kind of inspiring but very funny story as well. What else would I recommend that I've read recently? I recently read, I mean, these aren't really new titles, but I recently read Ready Player One, which I really loved. I thought as a sort of sci-fi book. I thought that was just a really, really good story, and great characters. So I really enjoyed that. I read Bringing Back the Beaver. That's very good. This is another non-fiction book by Derek Gow, who is a wildlife conservationist, and he was kind of instrumental in bringing the beaver back in Scotland. And so it's the story of how that happened. It's quite a sort of mad, chaotic world. So that's quite a funny book too. But also kind of amazing. He's written just a new book that I haven't read yet, called I think Shadow of the Wolf, I think it's called. I might have the title wrong, but that's about his ongoing efforts to try and reintroduce wolves into the UK, and about, well, more about the history of wolves in the UK and how they're sort of very misunderstood as creatures. But he's amazing, and I think that's yeah, that's quite an interesting book. So those are a few recent ones that I've enjoyed.
I'll give you 2 recommendations from me then, if you like non-fiction and sci-fi.
Please.
My favourite non-fiction read, and it might help you with a witchcraft theme, is How to Kill a Witch.
Okay.
A guide for the patriarchy. And it is about Scottish witch trials.
Oh wow, okay, interesting.
Which is really interesting. And on a Scottish theme, Adam Oyebanji's Esperance is a really good read.
Okay,
it's
great.
Like a golden age locked room detective story with a sci-fi twist.
Okay, great. Interesting. I will have to give both of those a read. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll check them out.
They're my top reads of the year.
Okay, excellent. Well, great. Wonderful. I'll give them a read.
And then I know we're losing you very soon to go off and do another thing. So do you want to remind people what they're going to go away and buy if they haven't already done so?
Yes, if you haven't, please do buy Mystery Agency: The Bookshop Murder. It is a really, really fun interactive puzzle book. There is a story, but also there are lots and lots of puzzles, about 40, 50 puzzles in there, puzzle on every double page spread. And once you've solved all the puzzles, you know everything you need to know about the 8 suspects, and you are able to solve the crime. It's a really, really fun book. It's quite, quite sort of light in terms of the number of words and stuff. So it's not a heavy thing. It's really good fun. It's something you can pick up and put down. Great gift for anyone who enjoys solving puzzles in your life. And yeah, I have to pay a huge testament to the amazing design work done by Gavin and Rebecca on it, because it really does look gorgeous, and I can really take very little credit for that. So yes, no, do pick it up if you can. It's available from Waterstones, Amazon, Goldsboro, Blackwell's, all the normal places, Foyles. So yes, please do grab yourself a copy if you can. And do come and see Christmas Carol. I should say that we're doing Christmas Carol Goes Wrong as well. If you are a comedy enthusiast, then you'll really enjoy it. It's an amateur theatre company, the Cornley Drama Society, amateur theatre company's take on Christmas Carol. If you've seen any of the other Goes Wrong stuff, the TV show we did, or the play that goes wrong, this is a little bit different because you get to see a bit more behind the scenes. You get to see auditions and production meetings and rehearsals, and sort of post-show drinks and reviews being read, as well as the show itself. It's a really good fun, on tour across the UK from this week right through until the beginning of March, and in the West End for December and January. So that's what I'm up to at the moment. If you'd like to come and if you'd like a book to read or a show to see, those are my Well, I say recommendations, but I'm involved with both of them, so I would recommend them. But they're both good fun.
But that's still a recommendation.
It is. A slightly self-serving one, but yes, no, it is.
All right, that's what you're here for. You're allowed to promote things in this.
Well, thank
So
you. Thanks for having me. It's been really good fun, and yeah, no, what a tremendous thing. So congratulations. Yeah, it's a really I hadn't heard of this organization. So yeah, super fun. Thank you.
thanks. Yeah, me and my dad started this group. So
Did you? That's very nice. Yeah, lovely.
it was a family affair.
Yeah, that's very nice.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure. My pleasure. And if you've got any more questions about it or whatever, get in touch on online and on Instagram or whatever. If you want to get in touch and drop me a question about the book, I'd be more than happy to answer. Yeah, no, thanks for listening.